Welcome back everyone to your challenge tasks for the select where statement. We just learned how to combine the select clause, which allows us to grab columns, along with the where statement, which allows us to actually specify conditions based off those columns, using logical operators and comparison operators. So we have just 3 quick tasks to make sure you understood everything. Something I want to point out though is that we now know enough to answer more realistic business questions and tasks instead of just directly asking for specific SQL tasks. So from now on with the challenges, we're going to try our best to focus more on directly asking the business related questions to more realistically model a typical task you would see as a SQL developer in a real world workplace. So what I mean by that is from now on, our challenge examples will focus more on something like how many customers have the first name Jared, instead of asking a question such as use select where to find Jared in the first name column in the customer table. So we're going to focus much more on trying to have you build the skills of translating a business question or business related task to an actual SQL query, since that's really where a lot of the work takes place. Okay. One last thing to keep in mind is that as you continue to learn more about SQL, especially now that we're kind of past this hump of the select where statement, you're going to soon realize there are usually many different ways to arrive at the same solution. So you should be verifying your work mainly against the expected result instead of our example SQL solution, since your SQL solution may begin to vary just a little bit from ours, but as long as you're getting the same expected result, then you're totally okay. So let's get started. So we'll go over the business situation in question, show you the expected result, so show you some hints if you need them, and then show you our solution. So the first challenge. A customer forgot their wallet at our store, and we need to track down their email to inform them. So the question is, what is the email for the customer with the name Nancy Thomas? So we open up the wallet, we see that their name is Nancy Thomas, and we want to figure out what is the email so we can inform them. Okay, coming up next is the expected result. So the expected answer should look something like this. You should eventually realize it's nancy.thomas@sequilacustomer.org. Okay, here come some hints if you need them. So the hints are to use the customer table. You should also make sure the capitalization and spelling of the names is correct. You may need to use and to combine conditions for the first and last name, and make sure to use single quotes around the string. Here comes the solution. So our solution for challenge number 1 was to select the email column from the customer table where first name is equal to Nancy and last name is equal to Thomas. If you take a closer look at that customer table, you'll realize that there's actually only one person with the first name Nancy, and that means you could just technically go off the first name, but realistically, you want to make sure to go off the first name and last name. And luckily for us, there's only one person named Nancy Thomas in our database. Stuff would definitely get more challenging if we had multiple Nancy Thomases, which means we'd probably have to send multiple emails. Okay, here comes challenge number 2. So, a customer wants to know what the movie Outlaw Hanky is about. Could you give them the description for the movie Outlaw Hanky? Okay, here comes the expected result. So the expected answer is this description, which is kind of wacky, but Outlaw Hanky is a thoughtful story of an astronaut and a composer who must conquer a dog in the Sahara Desert. All right, so here come some hints in case you need them. Hints for challenge number 2 is to use the film table. Make sure the capitalization and spelling and spacing of the movie name is correct in case you're getting an error on that, and make sure to use single quotes around the string. Here comes our example solution. So here we'll just select the description column from film table where title is equal to Outlaw Hanky. And you have to make sure that capitalization is correct, since it will actually check for capitalization matching up. Okay, here comes your next and last challenge for this little lecture. So challenge number 3 is a customer is late on their movie return, and we've mailed them a letter to their address at 259 Ipo Drive, and we should also call them on the phone to let them know. So what we want to do is, can you get us the phone number for the customer who lives at this address of 259 Ipo Drive? All right, here comes the expected result. So the expected answer for challenge number 3 should be this phone number here. Here come some hints in case you need them. So you should be using the address table. Make sure the capitalization and spelling of the address is correct, and use single quotes around the string. And finally, here's the solution. The solution is simply select phone from address where address is equal to 259 iPod drive. Something to keep in mind here is that the table can share a name with the column. So notice here that the column is address as well as the table name is address. So don't get too confused here thinking it's referring to the same thing. The from is asking for the address table, the where is addressing the address column. All right, that's it for your select where challenges, and I will see you at the next lecture.